Alright, we are nearing the end of this BSG Monthly 3 Gotta Go Fast. We have Fast Racing Neo coming up, which is a very apt name because he's gonna go fast, he's gonna go racing, and it's gonna be Super Neo. It's gonna be Division X running it. He's gonna do the Hypersonic time trials, and we have Valkyr on co-commentary. So, over to them.
Alright, so yeah, welcome everybody. This is Fast Racing Neo. It is a pretty new game, but it is very broken. It got broken really quickly after release, and you'll be seeing a lot of that. So whenever he's ready to start, I'll explain some things as he's playing, because he needs to really focus at the start of the run. There's some really difficult tracks right off the bat.
Yeah, the start is the most important in the game, and I really want to do good for you guys, so...
Okay, 3, 2, 1,
Oh, wait. Okay, yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Rockdale Trust.
So he's mostly going to be using that machine, the Rockdale Trust, and that's because it is a very light machine, so you can maneuver it pretty easily. It has good acceleration, like the best in the game, and also pretty decent top speed. So this first track is actually one of the more difficult ones. He's going to be going through a pipe with a lot of spinning blades, and if you get hit by that, it's an insta-kill, which will waste a bunch of time. So one thing he's going to do is he's going to jump out of the pipe, and he's going to do a lap glitch. So basically by jumping over there he gets a bunch of lap triggers, and then he goes backwards to actually trigger a lap. We're not entirely sure why the lap just triggers in the middle, but it happens, and you just need to get enough lap triggers and you can do it. So by jumping over there, it's a pretty quick way to get a bunch of lap triggers. Something else he's going to be doing is this side dashing. By spamming the shoulder buttons you can gain a lot of sideward momentum, and it can even go faster than just driving normally, and it'll prevent you from slowing down as much. It's a very helpful technique. So you can't do the lap glitch on every lap because you respawn, well, you're somewhere in the middle of the track, so it's best to just finish it normally rather than dying a few times to get enough lap triggers. So he's only going to be doing this either on lap 1 or 3, or sometimes only on the second lap, if I'm not mistaken. So this time he doesn't have to turn around at the end, he'll just finish the lap right off the bat.
Oh yeah, quitting out of the tracks is faster. So yeah, this track is one of the coolest looking tracks in my... has one of the most cool strats in my opinion. You basically get a really big jump somewhere and trigger the lap. So I hope I can do that for you guys.
You also notice there's some ice on the road, and it's actually slippery if you stay on it for too long, but if you just go through it quickly then it's not too big of a deal. There's also these jump plates, but he's the incorrect color, so he doesn't want to do the jump. And he's gonna go backwards and hopefully get a good jump. So yeah, he just triggers the lap in midair.
That was so good, man. I got the respawn, so instead of getting the crashing animation, which cost like 4 seconds.
So now he's just going to finish the lap normally and then do it again on the final lap. So yeah, there's 2 different colors your machine can be. It's either blue or orange, and that depends on... well, that determines which boost plates you can take and jump plates as well. And going into the air is generally slower, so it's best to be the incorrect color and just to go through the jump plates as long as it doesn't cause you to die, as it does on some tracks.
Oh no.
Aww. Yeah, this game is pretty strict about going out of bounds. There's a lot of ways to avoid it, but if you're out of bounds for too long, it'll just spawn you back on the track.
Rockdale Trust.
It's okay, I had a good backup there, so it didn't cost too much time.
This track also has a really cool shortcut, which you'll be seeing on the second lap. So you're just going to get enough left triggers right there, turn around, and pretty much do the same thing as before. But now for a second lap he's going to do something a bit different, and that allows him to, rather than doing another sort of glitch lap, you actually land behind the goal by going out of bounds here through the pipe, and then you have to land properly, and that'll trigger the final lap.
So
and
happy about it.
Yeah, it looks amazing. So then you can just do another reverse lap glitch, and that's the end of the track. So basically, because of the way the track is sloped, you can get some lift off and you can jump over the wall, and I guess not the entire pipe is solid, so you can just clip through the ceiling.
Yeah, the walls are really weak there for some reason.
So this was one of the first tracks to get a little shortcut, and at the time that was like really impressive, but since then it's been pretty broken. There's been a bunch of new shortcuts and reverse lap glitches. See you next time. Yep. See you next time.
Right, so here's something new. We basically boost off this ramp. Then we go back to the track where we came from. I need to be very careful with landing and not go for too long in reverse, because else I will respawn, but I got it pretty nicely there.
Yeah, if you land on top of a wall, it'll just instantly kill you. And you'll respawn in a bad place, it'll cost you a bunch of time, so you really want to land on the track properly. And here's going to do a different shortcut to get all the way to the end of the track, and he'll just finish at the goal line.
So yeah, this first 4 tracks went really well. Really happy with the result, because those are the 4 hardest tracks in the game in my opinion. So here's basically a weird jump. We jump out of the track, trigger the checkpoints on the other side because there's a track. Then we can go backwards and it counts the lap. And in this case, we can do it 3 times. I'm not really sure why.
Nice.
I'm doing really bad.
Getting pretty good recoveries though.
Yeah, it was a good recovery.
So you'll notice there's a lot of variety in the tracks. There's no 2 tracks that share like the exact same assets, I guess. So every track looks unique. It has, like, it just plays differently all in all. This track has some moving obstacles as well, which you should be able to avoid if everything goes well. But for casual play, they can be a massive pain. So it's just huge walking spider things, and if you crash into them, you'll just explode immediately, and it's just really bad.
Just dodged that.
Yeah.
Also notice when I boost through a boost plate, my boost meter actually doesn't go down. That helps me recover a bit more boost from boost sections.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, my timing was off because my first lap wasn't that great, but I can still finish the lap at least. Yeah, the loading time on this map is pretty long.
I believe they improved their load times in the recent patch, or was that just like a rumor?
I think it's improved when you already preloaded a track. Like if I restart now, the loading time is a lot faster than the first time, and it's even faster on the patch version.
So once again, I'm going to do a little lap glitch, and then
yeah, I got it.
Another weird thing where it just barely goes up the edge, and then you can trigger another lap. And for the final lap, it's going to do something different. Oh, it's really close. So you can just barely squeeze in between those buildings and hit the goal.
No.
It can be a bit tricky to set up, so it's not too surprising if you don't get it first try.
Rockdale Trust.
Alright, so at the start here, we're gonna do a really long side dash over the track, because it's a lot faster than just driving forward, because airtime is bad. So I hope that goes well.
Yeah, these platforms actually move, so it's really difficult to stay on the track.
Oh, didn't cover enough distance there.
So yeah, with the side dashing, you can basically go full speed backwards without triggering the reverse signal, which is really helpful.
That's because when there's the reverse signal, it respawns you eventually, and you don't want that when you go backwards.
There's also a little alternate path that goes through the waterfall that allows you to get a bunch of boost orbs, but it does cover more distance, so it's not necessarily faster to go there. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I
Barely landed on the rail. So here's going to do another neat little shortcut. And he's just going to jump over the rail. There we go. Second try, not bad.
Yeah, it was okay. Ooh.
And then just finish the lap backwards.
Rockdale Trust.
That was one of the most recent shortcuts, the final lap one. So right here I have to respawn because else the next trick won't work. So I respawn over here. Then I will crash into this rock and lap bounce.
So right there it just goes through the jump plate because you don't need it to cover the distance and it'll just decrease your speed. So it's best to boost through and don't go into the air too much.
So here again.
Alright, nice. So here he actually uses a different machine. This one's a bit heavier, has better speed with slower acceleration, but
Yeah,
it just works out.
Yeah, this track doesn't have many tricks and not a lot of airtime, so this vehicle overall is a little faster than the Rockdale. Also, the skip you see here is a bit different because we're actually going to complete all 3 laps in 1 lap. So yeah, the first one just basically triggers here. And then you cannot do it again, but you can do another one a bit later into the track. Which is around here, then around here. Oh no, it didn't count.
Oh. Damn.
That is bad.
Yeah, it can be tricky to tell where exactly the checkpoint is. The one thing is, there we go. The one thing he's also doing is either boosting or side dashing over the water to ensure that he doesn't lose as much speed, because the water does slow you down. And now we just finished the lap at the end.
Rockdale Trust.
So this is another one of the tracks that got broken really early on. I think it was the most broken with like jumping over the rail and jumping over the sand dunes, and
Yeah.
it was kind of crazy. And the strats have improved a little bit, such as being able to curve back to the end of the track after hitting the lap by jumping over. But you'll see that in a moment. Yeah, and that part is really annoying. Sometimes you'll just jump clean over, and then sometimes you'll crash, and it's pretty bad.
There's a huge invisible wall there. So
So right there, he triggers the lap in the air.
get a stupid respawn
Yeah.
again. Oh man. Yeah, it's actually the same announcer voice as Ethereal. I do not know what is happening. This is just marathon luck, I guess. I'm just gonna complete it normally because this is not fun to watch.
Yeah.
What is this? Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah, this game can be really inconsistent with how it works sometimes.
So yeah, now I jump over the invisible wall. And it's the last lap, so we can finish over there.
Vulcan Capital.
That's a bit unfortunate, but I guess that's part of the marathon luck here.
It happens. So now we're going on to Avalanche Valley, and he's using another different machine here, the Vulcan Capital. And this one is actually pretty heavy. It's really hard to maneuver, but it's really fast. So because there's not a lot of like sharp turns in this track, it's a really good choice.
So yeah, this track is pretty plain. It's basically 3 long straight, so that's why I can use this vehicle.
Yeah, normally this vehicle is mostly used on Supersonic because that's where you're going slower, so you don't have to worry about sharp turns as much. So this is one of the rare occasions where you use it in Hypersonic. And now another reverse lap glitch to finish it off.
Rockdale Trust.
Yeah, over here I'm gonna do this little trick. Basically you have to go backwards, so the respawn thing triggers. And I try to counter lap, yeah, I got the lap count
Nice.
while respawning, so that saves a bit of time over crashing. So I have to crash into this rock, I don't know why. And then I can just, oh, I can do it again. I can see the finish is on the other side there. So now we just should be triggering the lap, but it didn't. So yeah, like that.
Yeah, the finish line does extend out of the track a bit, but it's hard to maneuver between that and the rock.
Yeah, it's mandatory to crash at least once into the rock, so else it won't count. I really don't know why.
Yeah, I guess it's just about getting enough lap triggers, but you don't have to get nearly all of them, so I'm not sure why it's programmed the way it is. But in the recent patch, they did overhaul the checkpoint system, so pretty much none of this still works. There's only like a few small jumps that are still functional, but it's so small, it's like an entirely different game.
Yeah, basically all the glitches are patched. So for us speedrunners, it's really yeah, a bit of a letdown.
There are also a few balance changes with the vehicles, like the Vulcan Capital has even worse acceleration, and there's a few other things. So this track actually has something unique with the boost rings, and I'm not sure why it's not in any other level, but they do look pretty cool.
Rockdale Trust.
So this track has another really difficult shortcut. There's a few different ways to do it, a few more safe than others, so hopefully it'll go well. There's also these pillars, and again, if you run into them, it's just an instant death, so you really want to avoid it if at all possible, but when you're boosting, it's really hard to see them coming. So he launches himself off of the cylinder, lands far enough to get enough checkpoints, and then turns back to finish the lap.
Only 2 laps to go.
So again, because he spawned a bit later in the lap, he can't get enough checkpoints to repeat the lap glitch, so he just has to drive further.
Happy this went well. These jumps can be really tricky. Okay, get ready on time. Last track is now.
Sendai Outpost. Rockdale Trust.
So the idea here is to collect as much boost as possible so I can jump off there. It's really lame. Shame this is the last track, but it's fast, so you gotta go fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually kind of a shame because this track is pretty neat. It has a few really interesting parts where it has like no walls and it's like only half the track width and it kind of curves around. But you don't get to see any of that, you just see the very start.
You just see me crashing.
Yeah.
And the last one. So now we go backwards and time. I guess that's decent for a marathon.
Yeah. If it weren't for desert, it would have been really nice.
Yeah, desert was
But